Well, this is odd.
Isn't that a gyrocopter?
It is. We've got a plane on a stick. What is it with people putting planes on sticks? And the propellers are spinning, it's pointing into the wind. It's a giant wind vane. Just an odd place. A nice street lamp there, Linda pointed out just to me just a minute ago. And this old bridge was moved from somewhere. We're going to drive across it. Hope it's safe. Well, I'd say this is pretty whimsical. Well, this was an actual aircraft at one time. And I just noticed that at this end of the bridge, there's an old searchlight up there. Do you remember the searchlights? You older folks will remember. Back when somebody was having a special sale or there was a fair in town, they would have searchlights pointing up at the sky to lure you to that location. They don't do that anymore. Well, this is a cowboy riding a rocket perched on top of a fire truck. I don't know, makes perfect sense to me, I guess. Well, we're just stopped here to make lunch. This is a city park. Linda's making ham sandwiches. Thank you, Linda.
Bread baked in Montana.
Excelente. And there's kids playing here. It's a very pleasant place. You know, when you get out on the road here in this part of the country, it's a lot different. So it'll be interesting to see where we find to stay at tonight. Well, this last night we stayed at a city park in Roscoe, South Dakota, just a little tiny farm town, and had a very quiet, pleasant night. It's free here. I think there's a donation box. I'm going to go look for it so I can make a donation. There's actually, I'm looking past the camera here, there's electrical hookups. There's 2 spots here, maybe 3. But this is boondocking Midwest style. Well, it's not always perfect. The first place we stopped last night was a town about 6 miles previous to this one, Highway 12 here. And it was a beautiful little city park. So we pulled in, it was all neatly manicured and everything. But I went over to they had Santa cans. And I went over to check them out. They hadn't been cleaned in years. I'd never seen anything so bad in my life. And there was thousands of flies in them. Well, there was thousands of flies in that little park. It was so bad we had to leave. So we headed down the highway till we hit this spot. We traveled late because it was 100 degrees yesterday and I didn't want to stop and camp at 5 o'clock with it being 100 degrees. So we had some miles to cover anyway, so we just kept driving. So we pulled into this place just about dark last night, and there's hardly any flies here. So I was afraid it was maybe this farm area had a lot of flies, but it wasn't. It was just that place. So it's not always perfect, and sometimes you got to shop around for a good place to camp. We lucked out. We lucked out though. This is nice. Well, I was hoping we'd see fireflies last night, but maybe we're not quite far enough east. So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow, or maybe tonight or tomorrow night we'll see them. Linda's only seen them a couple times. The brightest fireflies I've ever seen are in Nebraska. Now, I remember being back east as a kid in Ohio, and the fireflies were kind of a pale lime green. Well, in Nebraska, they're a blue-white, like a bright LED light. In fact, when you see them out ahead of you when you're driving down the road at night, maybe a block ahead. You think they're the eyes of a deer in your headlights. You can see them in your headlights that far away. Look up Nebraska fireflies and see if you can see a video of them. They're impressive. Never seen anything like that. Well, my typical morning routine is to get up, make coffee, and then sit down and answer comments. I do that 7 days a week. I look forward to your comments. Well, I don't know if you can hear this, but there's a church last night too, and now I hear it this morning. They're playing chimes or music. It's beautiful from the bell tower. That's pleasant. Here's your coffee, Linda. I actually forgot I had a video come out this morning. There's a lot of comments. I really like reading the comments. Here's one from Den the Cockeyed Camper and Grumpy Neanderthal and oh, a lot of you guys. I just love it when you write in. Bob Cole and Bill Thompson and Glenn Schumann and you guys. There's just a ton. I really love reading your comments and getting back to you. Here's my friend Teresa F. Hey, one thing I wanted to show you, in this particular spot where we're at, I'm trying to answer comments, right? I'm going between no bars and 1 bar. So we put up, remember this high boost? I did a review on it. We put up an antenna. I just put it up here. Ran the wire over to the trailer. It only took me a couple minutes. Here's the indoor antenna here, and there's Linda answering comments. She's got 2 bars in here. So we went from barely 1 bar to a good 2 bars. So the high boost antenna, I got to tell you, is working fine. And the setup is easy. There's the outdoor antenna. Down under the door here, you'll see the wire coming into the trailer. I just got it. It just plugs into the cigarette lighter port of the power unit here. Goes right here. And over to the indoor antenna. Just a matter of just plugging some stuff in and away you go. Well, the oldest artifact that they found here is 5,000 years old. And they have petroglyphs here that go way back also. Beautiful petroglyphs having to do with quarrying the stone, which is pretty cool. In the late 1700s, early 1800s, Europeans started coming here and looking at this place. John C. Fremont, I'm sure accompanied by Kit Carson, came through here. We're coming up on a quarrying site here where it's actively being quarried, and I'm not allowed to film the Native Americans that are doing that, but I'm going to go take a look. As you can hear, it's still quarried by hand with hammers and chisels. As you can see, all of this rock, this is all the leftover quartz that's been cast aside and hauled out. Bucket after bucket after bucket. A lot of really hard work, but the pipes they make out of it are and have been beautiful. Well, if you want to know more about this place, look up Pipestone National Monument, and you can discover all kinds of things about the history and how far back it goes. You'll be able to see photographs of the petroglyphs that were here. They're all in the museum right now, and the lighting wasn't very good in there. But I'm sure you'll see more things online. Anyways, this is a nice little area to visit. Beautiful places to camp in this area. Just make it part of your road trip. Well, just another roadside thing that we've come across. We're in northern Iowa right now, and there's this huge mound. Don't know what it is yet. Don't even know what to call it. I'm going to give Linda a chance at that. First of all, you have to understand that this is Iowa, and it's pretty darn flat.
Except for this mound. That is part of the state preserve. It's called the Ochayeden. Ochayeden.
I read it, Ockiden. Hey, no,
Ochayed. I don't know how to pronounce it.
no disrespect, but there must be a dozen different ways to pronounce that, and we don't know what it is. So what you got here, Linda?
Well, it was a mound that was created by, from the days of the glaciers. There was a glacier here, which created all these plains in Iowa. I guess the glacier was up here. There was a hole at the top, and sand and debris filled this cavity in the glacier. And that was the hole in the glacier where all this sand and debris and gravel. So that mound used to be a little bit moundier. And somebody took some of that sand and gravel off the top.
You know, there's a couple of different ways to travel. One way is when you set a destination, you know, like, we're going to Vegas. Another way is when you travel just for travel's sake. And when you do that, you don't have a destination, and you just stop and look at whatever you come across. And that's the fun of a trip like this. You just see something, you go, what the heck, what kind of mound is that? Well, you never know. It could have been a burial mound or a glacial mound or something, but a little 3-mile side trip off the road, it's worth it. So we're going to go do a little more of the same. Let's see what else we find. This place is called the Grotto of the Redemption, and it's the largest grotto in the world, built mostly by one man, and it's entirely made of precious and semi-precious stones from all over the world. There's no admission price here. They do request a donation, and we'll be sure and do that. You can take a tour, and I'm sure if you take a tour, they'll give you a lot of information on what you're looking at.
Seashells and corals too, from all over. There's even some from Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the labor of mostly one man, Father Paul Dauberstein, who passed away in 1954. But he labored non-stop on this for 42 years. After that, the work was taken up by a couple of other people, and they continued it on in his tradition. So let me just show you some of the more special places here. Of course, Father Dauberstein was Catholic. Can you imagine setting every single stone by hand? And there's jasper in here and turquoise and everything else. And I'm not an expert on stones, so I won't be able to tell you what you're looking at, everything, but I'll give you a little bit of an idea. Look at the huge hunks of amethyst up there. And crystals. Big, huge crystal right there in the center. It's got to be like 2 or 3 feet tall, maybe 12 inches wide. Look at the size of this shell. Everything you see is real, nothing is fake. These particular alcoves are all lined with seashells. Large abalone, size of dinner plates. Everywhere I look, I also see petrified wood. I can't imagine the process for collecting all of this. Like I say, I know a lot of it was done by donation, and people would ship things to him from all over the world. Jesus is laid into the arms of his mother. That sign is 2 feet by 4 feet, and it's all turquoise. One square foot of many thousands of square feet, and look how beautiful this is. Of course, the light in here doesn't do it justice, but it's colorful. That's like a root beer colored inside of a geode. Large hunk. A couple feet across at the base, I think. 18 inches high. Look at the size of this crystal. And there he is, Father Paul Dauberstein. You never know what you're going to find out here in the middle of the Corn Belt. You know, that's the neat thing, though, about traveling the back roads, whether it's the back roads of the West or the back roads of the Midwest. It's the things you can find. There's a gift shop, and then there's just displays of stones that tell you what you're looking at. And there's a museum here, too, which tells you, well, it shows you a lot more stones, and with descriptions, and also tells you how this place was built with a lot of photographs too. This is our third trip to Iowa. We come here on purpose, but one of the things that I like to see is the manicured farms. You know, it's hard enough to keep your yard up, but you look at these farms where they're totally manicured and all mown. Even the area between the side of the road and the fence line is kept mowed. Beautiful grass surrounding the cornfields, and then the barnyards and farmyards themselves, it's all kept up pristine. Then you get into the little towns, and you have the beautiful old houses with the huge trees providing shade, with the big front porches. It's just there's something just relaxing about all that and seeing that. It's a beautiful place. Yep, they still have one. Does that work?
I don't know.
We like to go slow. We always take the back roads, and we look for these oddities and interesting places and history. That's how you end up finding some fort out in the middle of nowhere, or places like this.
Hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Thanks for coming along. See ya.
See you around.